Hi, everybody. I'm Ginny Schuster with GinnyPreneur. And I am so excited today. We have Karrie Pittman, and she's involved with marketing. It's so scary to get into your own business, but you, Karrie, took the leap of faith and got into your own business. So we want to hear your story.
I'm third generation born and raised in Colorado Springs. And my grandparents had a small business. My aunt, my cousins are still in that small business. And there's a huge need for small businesses to have resources that can help them look like the big guys. Yep. So in a large corporate office, you have creative directors, you have entire marketing teams, you've got designers that are only working for the large corporations. I wanted to be able to bring those type of services to small businesses, very situationally based. If someone needs branding, we'll talk about branding. If somebody needs marketing material, we'll only talk about marketing material. If they've got branding that's working, far be it for me to come in and say, throw it all out the window. No, it's wrong. If it's working, it's doing its job. And ultimately, that's what we need our branding to be doing, is being a voice while you're not there.
That's terrific. So Karrie, do you do consulting? Is that how you reach out to people first and find out about them, details? Tell us how you would connect with someone and who has a small business in mind and how you would help expand them.
Okay. So every single time that I sit down the first time with folks, I don't charge anything. That seems so silly. I want to get to know them. I want to get to know their business and see if it's a good fit. Do they already have branding? Maybe they've already, gone through the process and they've got a logo and they don't quite realize that your branding is a little bit more expansive than just the logo. So it's really developing your voice, and it's developing, what is your mission statement? What's your communication style? What's the persona of your business? So if they've got a logo in place and they just want brand consultations, then yes, I will consult with them. If it is just, we know our voice and we are not quite sure if a rack card or a trifold brochure would be the better of the options, then I just sit down and talk to them, because that really is what it's all about, is helping each other as small businesses and trying to get that information out there.
So as you know, you have to learn what platform they're on. So explain to the viewers, how do you determine, or do you open up people's eyes to, oh, you should be on LinkedIn, you should be on Facebook, these are the different ones I would recommend? How do you go about taking that avenue?
I will sit down and kind of determine who's their target audience, because your target audience is going to be found on different platforms. So if you're looking at business to business, LinkedIn is going to be a huge tool for you to be able to use. If you're looking at business to consumer, which target market is your consumer in, and which of the different social media avenues would be best for you? And then just figuring out, what realistically could you do? A lot of times small businesses, they can't afford social media management at the very beginning. So it's just sitting down and having a very realistic conversation of, what can you do in a week that you can maintain for a year? And that's the most important thing, is once you start, is just trickling things out there at a rate that you can maintain.
So with marketing, I found that that's a very important thing, but to me, it's a mystery. So why do you feel that people really need to have a budget for marketing? And what kind of budget would that mean?
That would definitely vary from business to business. So if you are the type of business, say a real estate agent, where you are wanting to touch someone every other week, then your budget needs to include the mailers and the postage, and maybe you've signed up for one of the programs where you send closing gifts, and then there's a campaign that goes out every 3 months so that you stay top of mind. That's a much bigger budget than someone who is maybe just starting out with a few products on Etsy, and then maybe a mailing campaign would not be as effective as a social media campaign. So it really is dependent on how often are you trying to get in front of that target market? And then is it a physical, tangible item that you're talking about, or is it a digital presence?
And a lot of people lately have been, since they were laid off from work, they're thinking that they would love to have their own home-based business. So give us an idea to our listeners. Let's hear an idea of the ideal client. Is there a certain size business that you're interested in working with?
I love small businesses. I like that I've got an idea. I just registered with the state and I don't know what to do. So that we can sit down and really talk about branding from the very beginning. And then it's not necessarily a rebrand when they have a logo made. It's not, we have their colors in place, we have their fonts in place, we have the branding in place. Everything moves forward from that point. But I've worked with mid-sized businesses when they say, oh, we have a whole set of new HR regulations that we want to send to all of our employees. And then it's a digital book that they are able to send out to new hires and things like that, that again stays within their already established brand guidelines. But I love small businesses. I do. I think there is something about Colorado that makes it an amazing place to start a business, and there's so much support here.
Oh, there definitely is. I deal with the Chamber of Commerce, who is quite a few small businesses. So I go in there and I say, I'm a small business advocate. I just want you to know I'm sticking up for the little guy.
Yep. I've partnered with the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, to be a consultant for them as well. So that when somebody has questions about branding or print material, absolutely, let's Zoom. We'll talk.
We're learning all sorts of things with Zoom as far as how to build a business. What kind do I want? And what are some of the typical businesses that you deal with?
Oh, goodness. I have dealt with real estate agents who want to develop a personal brand so that it goes, if for some reason they decide to change businesses, they've built a brand and they don't lose any of that recognition if they change from one over the bigger real estate companies to another bigger real estate companies. Lots of brick and mortar or home-based bakers, home-based crafters. I had a fantastic client. She does custom crocheted items. Oh, wow. And she wanted to be able to have business cards and a cute little sheet to write the care instructions on. And we got all of that very branded and very consistent so that it looks, my big saying is, you should look bigger than you feel right now, because it gives you room to grow into where you want to be.
I like that. And seeing the big vision, big picture, that's sometimes hard for people to do.
Yeah.
Are there any other words of wisdom that you could give either a small business owner or someone who needs marketing and needs your services?
I would say one thing that I like to drill into people is that when you are getting a logo made, make sure that you're getting your raw files, your vector files. That one is huge. So vector files, print ready files, digital files. Try and get a copyright release. I've spoken with a trademark attorney and she said it is such an easier process if you've got that copyright release saying, I paid someone to make this for me and they delivered it to me. So that one's huge. And then your style guide. That is so important. It's all of the colors that you're going to use in your marketing. It's the fonts that you use across all of your different platforms to create a very consistent look and a very consistent feel. Christmas is a great time to add a little flair and a little splash, and you get to do red and green and all the little shinies, but you want to have consistency in the background on everything that goes out. So those are huge. Vector files, copyright release, style guide. And that way, you know, what you're working with, it gives you an opportunity to jump into Canva and start creating things. It gives you an opportunity when you're ready to hire a designer to send that to them, and then they know right from the start, these are the colors that we use. These are the fonts that we use. And it's less of a discovery on that end of, oh, well, which colors, and more of a, what's your message?
Yeah. What's nice is to know that there are people like you out there who can help you. That's another thing about small business. You feel almost overwhelmed when you first get into it, that you should know all this and that and different words, how to do social media. There's so much of it that it's nice to know that there are people out there who can help you transition your business out into the public to where you want it and expose them.
It is completely overwhelming at the very beginning. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of the SBDC, why I wanted to offer free consultations, because I'll sit down with someone and they have that panicky look in their eyes. And I need to be everywhere. No. It's okay. I promise.
So give us an idea, one last thing, about how would people go about knowing, do you have a chart that says what your fees are, or is each person and company personalized so each person is charged differently? How would they know?
I've got set in stone branding packages based on the number of concepts and the number of revisions. And then I've got some branding packages that also offer a couple of print items. And then everything print and digitally based is just a la carte. Because sitting down with someone who's a home-based baker versus someone who is in network marketing, their needs are very different. And I found that by trying to pigeonhole everyone into these packages, it wasn't as effective as having a conversation with them, learning what their needs actually are, and saying, okay, this is probably what would be in your best interest. You can build up to some of the other items, but for right now, maybe a business card and a small little rack card would be more than sufficient for where you are right now, so that you can start building business, and then it creates the need for other items.
That's great. Excellent input. There's a lot to marketing that people don't think of, but they can get in touch with you. And I hope that people go on to my YouTube channel, GinnyPreneur, and subscribe and like and make comments so that we can have an ongoing conversation with you, Karrie. So how can people get in touch with you? What's your phone number and email address you'd like them to contact you at?
My phone number is 719-331-0652. And my email address is info@KarrieBellDesigns.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all this fantastic information.
Oh, thank you. It's been so much fun.
I appreciate it. Thank you.